Hello, thanks for joining us. My name is Lee Wild, Head of Editorial and Equity Strategy at II. Now, we thought you'd like to know about three great tools on the Interactive Investor platform, including two new ones we've just added from Trading Central. Now, regular users will recognize Technical Insight. That lets you see technical events, indicators, and chart patterns for major stocks. You may not be familiar with Fundamental Insight and Market Buzz. These are new to II customers. So before I hand over to Trading Central's Gary Christie, who will explain how each of the tools works, I should let you know this webinar is being recorded. We'll make it available on the II YouTube channel soon after as well. Lastly, there will be a Q&A session at the end of the call in which we'll answer questions posted on Slido. So you can still put questions you have to Gary via Slido. You'll have been sent instructions on how to ask a question, including a link to Slido. So now I'm going to hand over to Gary Christie, an analyst and market expert from Trading Central, who will introduce you to the tools that can give you an advantage and help you invest smarter. Hi, Gary.
Hello, Lee. Thanks for the introduction. Thanks everyone for joining today. So I'm going to share my screen and get started. There's lots to talk about today. Pretty exciting stuff. I'll just share my screen now. And if you can't see it, just send a note, a message, but you should be able to see it live now. So we're here today to look at some tools, stuff I use every day to help find trade ideas. And just a little bit about me before we begin, right? So my name's Gary Christie. So I head Trading Central's North American research desk. I'm based in Ottawa, Canada. I'm not at the office today, obviously. It's a little early for a US time for me, so I'm at home, then I'll bounce there later. But super happy to be able to talk to people on the European desk for us. So we have a European desk we'll get into in a minute of a huge team of analysts. But today, this is some of these tools I use the most active, I would say. So I'm here to present these to you. So what do I do? So part of my job is to support our product lines with research and development and help build the products you're seeing today. So we're going to talk about the TC Quantamental Rating, Market Buzz, Technical Insights, a very popular one, which a lot of you have probably seen already. And before joining Trade Central, I was an options specialist with some major banks in North America. I've been an active trader for almost 20 years now. Hard to believe. My passion is helping people build and helping fellow traders build trading plans, be disciplined with their approach, and help them be consistently profitable. So a lot of our desk evolved around advising even hedge funds, institutions around the world on stock selection. We're not going to do that today. Today is all about empowering you, everyone here, as individual traders to make their own decisions. And I think these tools will definitely help you with that. So you can find a lot more about us on tradingcentral.com. I won't bore you with all the details here, but our whole team is listed there. We have over 10 analysts. And just before I get on, so we'll talk about it just to make the lawyers happy in our end here and around the world. This is, again, for information purposes only and not a substitute for personalized financial advice. So keep that in mind. We're here to share insights today. We can't guarantee, of course, any specific investment outcomes using these tools. And remember, even the best market forecast can change faster than the weather. So the markets can be very unpredictable, of course, and past performance is no guarantee of future results, although we do take some weight into it as I am a technical analyst by trade. And we're here to educate today, not to make promises. So please invest and trade wisely and at your own risk. We'll see some live real data today, real charts, which of course is the best way to learn how to use a tool, is jumping right in. But again, whatever we see in the chart, it's not going to be recommendations. It's up to you to decide that. We're here just to empower you to make your own decisions. So with that covered, let's get to the good stuff. Really the agenda today. We're going to talk about a brief intro of Trading Central, what we do. We'll talk about some new products, right? Some new services to help disseminate the news, which is Market Buzz. We'll have Fundamental Insight in there to show you how I use it as a professional trader. Technical Insight as well, something I use every day to help with my homework. I'm trying to find trade ideas for the next day. So I'll just kind of show you, how we use it at Trading Central to find ideas. And then we'll also go into featured ideas, which is a combination of a little bit of everything, which is quite cool and exciting to use. So that's the topics today. We'll jump right into a little bit about, Trading Central and who we are for those that have never heard of us before. We are a leading provider of investment research and insights. We provide a wide range of tools and services designed to assist traders, investors, and financial institutions in making informed trading decisions. So we provide actionable insights on chart patterns, technical indicators, news sentiment, options analytics now, fundamental analysis, and our global team, of analysts, we have about 10 globally. Our headquarters are in Paris, and I'm in Ottawa covering North American markets. Then we have a Hong Kong desk. We're providing around-the-clock research coverage of all asset classes, including stocks, forex, commodities, any kind of derivative, futures, indices. So, we're chartists by trade, but now we've branched off into all this new AI tools and new sentiment, which is we're going to show you that today. So a lot of financial, advisors and institutional traders rely on our information worldwide. Over 150 leading institutions actually use us in 45 countries. Our tools you're going to see today. So pretty powerful stuff. I'm super happy to show them with you today. So let's get right into the first one. I'm going to give you a brief introduction to all the products available to you, an interactive investor, and then I'll give you a live demo as well on how to search for ideas. So stay tuned for that. I won't try to talk too long on this stuff, but it's important to know the basics and how we designed it and what it's for. So Market Buzz, fairly new in the industry. This is quite unique where we kind of change the way we look at news. So news can be cumbersome, tiring, trying to find. You're always bombarded with constant news releases coming in. We like to focus on news that's actually market moving, news that's actually going to help you find trade ideas. So if you're an active trader like myself, again, you're probably very short on time, don't have the luxury of sitting through lengthy news headlines in the morning. What you need is a quick way to identify which instruments are making waves in the news and could potentially impact your trading positions, as well as help you find market moving opportunities. So that's where Trading Central Market Buzz comes in. It keeps a close eye on a variety of sources, including news articles, social media, and market data to really pinpoint trending topics. Sentiment shifts as well, and significant events that might influence financial markets. So moving in here with a part of Market Buzz is Crowd Insight, which is fairly new in the industry and quite unique. It's integrated into Market Buzz, and it's our advanced artificial intelligence, which uses NLP or natural language processing and machine learning techniques to really come into play to find interesting news trends. So again, these tools analyze news articles to help identify the sentiment behind them. So, and that's an important key factor here. So we want to provide traders with actionable insights, like here we have in the screen sentiment signal, right? And we'll go into all this in real time once we get it going. We have sentiment score, news subjectivity, and confidence index. So, and the history as well as sentiment. So we're trying to figure out, is the news article bullish for the stock? Is it neutral, non-event, or is it bearish, right? And that's to help you disseminate the news as fast as possible to move on to your trade idea. I think the days of reading large news articles and fundamental research are out the window. We have enough technology now, and using our artificial intelligence, we can go ahead and just get what actually matters in front of you as fast as possible. And that's what all these tools are going to do today, which is quite cool. So it really, in essence, Market Buzz is your go-to solution for staying ahead of the curve in financial news. So it delivers timely and relevant market intelligence and helps you, really save time, read less, and know more, which you're going to see that theme a lot through this presentation. That's kind of our motto here when it comes to news and fundamental research. All right, so let's just move on to see what it looks like now in terms of fundamentals, because both tools look very similar. So when you look at Market Buzz and Fundamental Insight, we designed them with a similar UX to make it very familiar and to bring the main points across extremely fast. So on the next part, before we give the demos, we're going to talk about typical fundamental research, right? So this is what I have done for many years. In today's world, we are really surrounded with financial data that used to be hard to get. Now we can easily find tons of financials. The challenge is deciphering the data. So what to do with it, how to interpret it. These are the challenges. So fundamental reports really are very complex to read through the dozens of data points, ratios, and historical data. Our goal when we built Fundamental Insight was to really simplify fundamental analysis and help traders and investors really navigate around financial infobesity we talk about. So what is that? Financial infobesity, kind of a funny term, but it really refers to the phenomenon of being overwhelmed by an excessive amount of financial data, right? In the digital age right now, investors have access to vast quantities of financial news, any kind of reports, metrics, social media updates, expert opinions, and market analytics, right? So while having more information might seem beneficial, right, it can really lead to this infobesity, or the sheer volume of data makes it extremely difficult for investors to filter out the noise and to focus on what really truly matters, what's actually relevant to really help you make informed decisions when it comes to fundamental analysis. So again, this overload of all this data can really lead to, as I'm sure you've heard, financial analysis paralysis, where people struggle to make decisions due to conflicting or overwhelming data. This happens in technicals as well, by the way, and news. So it happens throughout the financial industry, which is what Trade Central is trying to change. Short-term biases, with more focus on daily market moves than long-term strategies, this can lead to a major problem, right? And of course, increased stress and fatigue trying to figure out how to enter a position with all this data. I know when I first got started trading, the hardest thing for me to do was hit that buy button. That was the hardest to take that risk on, knowing, do I have all the right information? Am I making the right choice? Over time, with experience, of course, that changes. The more you trade, the better it's going to be, and you're going to have losses. But I remember how hard it was with all the information available. What do I follow? The fundamentals? Would I follow certain ratios? Am I missing a certain technical pattern? It can get overwhelming. So we're here to change that and make it a little bit easier for everyone here. So again, talking about financial infobesity, it really highlights the need for tools and strategies that prioritize, filter, and simplify data. That's what we want to focus on here. So how does that look, right? So fundamental insight inside it'll show you today how that works, really helps investors identify and access companies that meet their investment style. It takes into consideration context of the economic regime we're in, which is important. I mean, most investors and traders are familiar with the typical financial statements that appear in every brokerage platform. And of course, challenge and interpret. We're going to change that the way we look at this product today. So I mean, a lot of the research reports you look at are not mobile friendly, number one, as well. They're on PDF format still. So this is all bringing in the relevant information right to the forefront. So instead of digging through tons of financial reports, right, we have brought key data to the forefront. So fundamental insight really helps investors focus on what matters in terms of stock valuation, and offers a really unique way of comparing the selected stock to other stocks in the sector. So we want to always be comparing apples to apples when it comes to fundamentals. And our peer comparison, which we'll show you, gets through that. So I'll get into this a lot more in detail on the live presentation. But again, just the main points here is data alone doesn't mean much at all unless it's being compared to similar stocks, similar sectors. Keep that in mind. So we use machine learning, AI to help rate our stocks based on all fundamental ratios on a scale of 0 to 100, based on 5 key factors, which we'll get into in a minute. But the data we actually compile and interpret provides us with a target price that's realistic and actionable. And again, let me be clear, this is all purely AI driven, not based on any human analyst that can be influenced or affected by peers or emotion. These are all realistic target prices and updated once a month. This product is updated. So even faster than typical Wall Street analysts. So it's even more frequent. But where does it start? It all really starts with the TC score, quantum rating, and we'll go through quickly the 5 factors. I'll talk about growth quickly, right? So this takes into account year-over-year change in price earnings, right? PE, EPS growth, and revenue growth here. And notice something unique here. We calculate the trend in the individual factor score, which may be of use to growth investors. So it's a different way of looking at growth stocks, which is quite cool. In terms of the data, right? Not just the price action. So, for some traders, all they need is just the overall rating, the TC Quantamental rating. But if you want to dig into it, we can figure out certain factors that meet your style. So here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 5, and then we'll go through them quickly. This is a pretty high one in NVIDIA. I took recent data recently, so I encourage you, if you have an account, log on, take a look at some of this data today, and see how it looks. It should be very familiar, and you can walk through what I'm looking at today. So everything, I always like to use real-time data points. So here we'll have fundamental income rating. NVIDIA Corp is here as well. On terms of income, they're not a big income player, right? So, I mean, in this case, we have dividend yield that's super small, but we can tell you the actual data behind it. 150% dividend growth rate, quite unique, right? We also have the quality rating as well here. This provides a comprehensive assessment of a company's overall financial health. So it takes into account its key indicators such as profitability, balance sheet, reliability of its earnings, and the rating encompasses a range of critical data points. So operating margins involved here, return on equity, return on invested capital. So there's a lot of data here you can't see in this screen. We'll get into the live demo to show you that. Quite interesting. And then we also have a momentum rating, which is a slow weight in the overall score, but it's extremely important. So we look at the price change, right? And it really captures the phenomenon where stocks have exhibited strong recent performance. They usually tend to continue to performing well in the short to medium term. It leverages the concept that stocks are with an upward price momentum or often favored by traders and may continue to attract buying interest. So it's more of like a trend following component to it. So we're taking all this quant data, a fundamental, and we're adding in a momentum portion to it. And of course, we can see some of these semiconductors and some of the tech stocks have had some wild moves, and we can screen for that as well. So moving on to the last section we're going to talk about today, just so you have a brief introduction. We're looking at technical insight. So technical insight, of course, I don't think it needs much of an introduction. It's one of the most popular tools we have at Trading Central. It combines the power of automated chart pattern recognition with an intuitive interface, right? So really, we were trying to help empower investors to identify and capitalize on market trends. It detects over 60 technical events daily, right? And covers a wide range of candlestick patterns, indicators, oscillators, and classic chart formations. So really, by surfacing actionable insights across global stocks and ETFs, technical insight saves time and it really provides precise entry and exit signals. So this event-driven approach really eliminates the need for manual chart analysis, really allows traders to identify new opportunities and makes informed decisions with confidence. This is our key idea with this product, right? So looking at this, we also combine it with featured ideas. So featured ideas provides, again, personalized, actionable trade recommendations tailored to their market preferences. So we can customize this to give you the top, in this top ribbon here, the top ideas could be bullish or bearish in terms of any kind of instrument. It could be stocks, could be Forex. We focus on stocks here. But you can blend a little bit of TC quantamental research with the technicals and specific fundamentals, which we'll get into and show some real-time data here, which is quite neat. All right, so looking at technical insight, these are all the events we can detect. So there's a lot here. We don't have the time to go through all of these today, of course. Quite unique in the way we actually separate it out. The most popular we would focus on is the classic chart patterns. And these are unique because they give us measured move target prices, right? So we also have indicators and oscillators. So all the popular ones are going to be here, like MACD and RSI, that they're automatically detected with our software, and then candlestick patterns and bar patterns as well. So you can kind of fine tune what you care about the most in terms of technicals, and customize your own watch lists, which is really how we use this tool the most. Is the power of watch lists, and we'll get into that. So let's get into a live demo here, and I want to show you just how we use this real time. So let's get in. I'll just escape here. So let's just go in with Market Buzz. Now I'm showing our internal program. It'll look a little bit different on Interactive Investor. But that's okay. It's very similar though. It's the exact same thing. So I encourage you to log on, try it out, and follow along with me, but I want to show you the main points of this. So what are we looking at? So this is the news section, right? So Market Buzz, and I have mine customized, right? So there's ways you can look at this. So you can select the countries you're interested in, because the market we're talking about today in the UK, and of course I'm biased, I'm a US analyst, I have two here. But you can select one or the other and it'll update real time. But select your markets first that you're going to cover. And then you can also select the sectors you're focused on, right? So I have them all selected here, but you can unselect them and select, say, just technology. It's super fast. You're going to update to just tech stocks here in both regions. I'll keep it for all of them for now. Again, this is the customizable options for you. I encourage you to play around with it. And then we get to the interesting stuff on the news sentiment. So the bubbles are what matters here. There's two ways to look at this product. So if you look at top buzzing, this is the most active in terms of news happening right now. We'll use this as an example, and you can change the colors, right? So we have news sentiment right now, and we have, interesting enough, Walmart is with the biggest bubbles here. And the bigger the size, the more the news is buzzing. So if you hover over it, you can see why the sentiment has increased, and we have a lot of news articles. So this makes sense. I think we just had earnings on Walmart recently. The stock's been making new record highs. Again, we can combine it with European names. We can see if it's positive or negative. So I like to go in here and look at anything that's kind of green and see why, right? So if I use this as an example, I see PNC Financial, very positive. I click on that. We're opening up the whole window here to a whole new world of news analytics. So what do we see here? We can see the sentiment signal, it's bullish, right? We're going to update that, I think, in about 10 minutes. So we have an update. If you hover over all the eyes, it'll give you a brief description of what this is and what it means, which is important. So if you're looking at sentiment signal, you can see here, it's observed at the start of the market session. It can offer insights into the asset. It's likely to exhibit superior performance or lag behind or remain steady. So today it looks like it's bullish. Sentiment score is 80 out of 100. This is indicating how the crowd feels about a financial instrument. And you could have two other options, right? Very negative to very positive. So right now, this is looking pretty positive on the news releases. We have the sentiment history that's above. It almost looks like an oscillator, but in the green zone. I like to see this. It's positive, right? Low subjectivity. Again, this is a pretty interesting one. It tells you how rational the crowd is on the opinion, right? So ranges from 0, which is very rational, to 100, very irrational. This is a pretty good sign here. Low subjectivity of 0. So news articles are pretty good. And then the confidence index, right? So this backs up the sentiment score, and it has low, average, and high readings, right? How much trust can be placed on the articles, right? So it's pretty average, not too biased, I would assume, in this case. And what else do we have here? So we have the sentiment, which overall, and that's all we have to care about here, is the main signals. I equate a lot of our products to like looking at a cockpit in an aircraft. It's something I'm very familiar with in the aviation industry myself. So I look at it and say, look, the whole point is to look at these indicators as fast as possible to make a decision. I don't have to read too much into them. I trust the indicators. So this is kind of the concept we use with all our financial data. If you go into news analytics, you can see what type of news is happening, right? What's the main stories across the page? So we see in the overall, in the last 24 hours, we have a lot of buzzing mentions, right? So that's extremely high, right? So a lot of people are writing articles in this name. We can see the sources are 100% news driven, right? Then we can see we see trends. Again, I might have some extra features in here because I'm on a test account, but we can see the most discussed topics is what I really want to show here. All right, so the mentions history of the last 30 days, something has happened, right? Acquisition. So you can really dial into all the news that's happening right now and what's actually being the most talked about, right? And you can decide if that's important to you to make your trading decision, right? So we can see acquisition completed. I'm gonna click on that. It's going to reference in the news feed all the articles that attain to an acquisition. So I don't have to go ahead and dig through the news anymore. There's a huge news feed. This is quite interesting. I can see from our sources, and sources vary, right? You can change those sources. I have a lot of them I'll enable is because I have the entire product in front of me here. But every client's different, right? So in this case, we can see all that matters is the discussed topics. And then I can decide later on if I want to dig into that a little bit more and maybe find some articles on the web or reference these articles and jump right into them. So that's news analytics. Just to give you a quick idea on why is it bouncing all of a sudden on November 18th, something happened, right? I can select on any of these and see the most discussed topics. And that's the point. So we use our AI to really cipher through all the articles to find the key topic points and then bring them to you in the forefront. This is the kind of, I guess, a new way to look at news without having to go through tons of news lists. So you can do the opposite here as well. If I go in, you can look at it a different way. If I go into table mode and sentiment, and I can filter by sentiment. And now from this filter, I can get all the very positive news. There is PNC there. Roku's on the table here. and of course, SMCI has been talk of the town. So that's all that kind of makes sense. We have a high buzz score, positive sentiment, and so it's your choice. You can either do it by bubbles, whatever works for you to find information the quickest, or the table. If I go into super micro, right? I can go in as soon as I look at this and I can see other stocks in the peer comparison. I want to show you this quickly just because it's very similar to what we do with our fundamental insight tool. So although I'm looking at super micro, maybe there's another stock that has buzzing news in the same sector, right? I can see Trimble here with a higher sentiment score. I can filter these, which is fairly new. So I go to the highest to lowest, right? I can now compare other stocks in the same sector on the news confidence, subjectivity, sensitivity, and all that fun stuff that we just looked at. So pretty cool there. That's market buzz. Again, I'll go back to an overview. There's a news desk as well, right? So news desk, I can go ahead and make my own watch lists, but just get all the news if I want. That feed's available to you as well, right? But I like to focus on really what's market moving, what stocks should I be looking at this morning. This is the way to do it. And you'd be surprised how accurate it is and timing. What's the main topics in all the major journals around the world, and then we can dig into it and see, is it relevant? Should I trade off this news or not? That's the key point here. All right, so moving on to the next product I'll use here was going to be fundamental insight. So I want to show you fundamental insight because it's very similar to what we just saw. See, now we're in a new product, fundamental insight, and it's very similar to Market Buzz. Has the same kind of look and feel. It's designed for a reason, right? So as we look at this, I have USA right now. I'll add UK stocks just to see. I don't get a chance to look at this market too often. We have a European desk, so it's fun for me today to look at these stocks and see what's going on. So I have all sectors selected, very similar to Market Buzz. Bubble size now is all based on trading volume or price performance over the last 5 days, 52 weeks, 10-day versus 90-day, or trading volume 90-day average. So I like using 5-day to get the market moving stocks right now. And then I can look at the quantamental rating. And the simple way to look at this is the higher the better, right? And the more green, the better. I have Burberry Group here, very strong. And when I look at a screen of quantamental ratings, again, this is our quant model that analyzes the stocks from 0 to 100 on 5 key factors, or we can just call it factor investing. We want generally 55 and above at the best of the best. We don't give a high score easily, so keep that in mind. It's going to be around the 50 mark if it's an average. 55 up into 75 is the best of the best that we've seen. And that will change based on the market regime we're in and how strong that sector is. But I can change by price performance. I could do it by a whole year and see the big names, right? Strong price performance for all these stocks here, Coca-Cola, Europacifica. So very interesting, and trading volume as well. So the reason why we added trading volume, 10-day versus 90-day, some traders do believe that stock unusual volume is going to be a market moving event, right? So if it's the average 10 days is higher than 90 days, maybe a story is happening. Something is brewing with that stock. So here we can do that as well. So really, I won't spend too much time on this because there's so many filters you can do, but I don't show what it looks like once you jump in. So I'm just gonna pick any random stock. Let's keep it with Burberry. Why not? If I click on this, because now it's come to the forefront, I now have a new way of looking at fundamentals. And what are we looking at here? Overall quantamental rating, right? 55 out of 100, it's strong, right? There's a definition of what this means and why. So this is taking into account all our factors. And usually this is the only number I care about, just to get on with my day. I want a high number. If this is in line with, say, a technical pattern and the market sentiment is bullish, now I have a high probable setup in terms of all my methodologies, right? And all these tools. We can see that quantamental rating is now breaking out as well. So it's improving. This is something that I also will check mark on my own trading strategy. It's a good news. So I haven't even looked at the price yet of the stock. So this is all just about fundamentals. We have 3 main factors that are actually attained to this stock. We have value, income, and momentum. So this red flag here, momentum, might be reason to look at the stock chart after. But if I go into value, we can see what causes that to be a high rating, right? So we see earnings yield 9.43%, earnings per share versus price per share, over price per share. We see you can go through all of these, right? Price to book, price to free cash flow, and it's trending higher. I can quickly go into other factors, right? For income, obviously it must be an income player. Momentum, it is quite low, but improving. So it's a way to look at all these ratios in a quick way. Now you're not going to have every ratio in some European names. It usually due to the frequency of reporting that causes some of this anomaly. So we'll weight it more to the quantamental score overall, right? But that's more different in the US side because we have a lot of reports every quarter. So we'll have some more data on some of the factor scores. So if I jump right into something like Walmart that just reported, I can quickly do that as well. Right? It's got a low quantamental rating, even though the stock's making almost new record highs, which is quite interesting. We have some low factor scores, but momentum is high, and that relates to the stock price, which we'll see. So we can see the overall rating is dropped off after, actually August. So we need full months of data to analyze this, right? And we can see, if I look at something like income, we have some more data points here. We have a dividend growth rates almost at that 10%, which we'd like to see. Right, the payout ratio 41%, and you can jump into each metric. And of course, momentum has been ones I look at the most as a technical trader, and that's pretty strong. No surprise there. But looking at this, we have target prices based on the quantamental score as well, and then we have as well as all the key data that should matter the most, right? So market caps there, PE, earnings yield, EPS growth. Or return on equity and dividend yield. So the quick one. So we brought in the most important ratios that matter to a trader to make a decision, and they're always at the forefront. And then you can dig into it later on if you're missing something else with some of our other tools. But just to save time here, I want to show you the rest of the product, which is now the nowcasting, which really brings in the economic context of what regime we are in, right? So if you believe we are in a recovery, like we're saying here, right? We have gone back over many decades to really disseminate how does the stock perform in each economic regime using our AI engine, right? So we're giving that to you at the forefront. We can see value stocks have not excelled during recovery, right? Specifically for Walmart, right? And then you can see it's a consumer defensive sector. It was modest during recovery, and recovery's not been favorable to large caps going back, I think, the last 10 years we looked at this. So that gives you a nice quick snapshot as to, am I in line with the economic regime for this type of stock based on all the fundamentals? I can change that, right? I can go into expansion, see how it performs. I can see it in the slowdown, how it performs as well, and in a recession, right? So this will all change dynamically on how you view the market. So maybe you view we're in a slowdown right now, then you can customize all your filters to match this, which is quite unique and interesting. You can learn about slowdown as well, right? So, and we actually have data in here, which is quite unique and something that's very underused, right? We can see in this economic cycle, USA, because it's a USA stock, was last in a slowdown phase from May to June for quite a short period of time. I have no guarantee it's 100% accurate. It's based on the models that we have. And then we can see why that is and which assets tend to benefit the most during this period of time and which underperform. So if they go into recovery, say we're in recovery right now after this election cycle we're in, and the market seems to be pretty positive, I can learn about recovery. There we go. And we've been in recovery for 13 days. Wow. And we can see why. We actually use daily economic data to give us a kind of a feel or a direction in terms of the economic regime. So this will change quite actively based on economic data and numbers coming in. But we can see why, and we can see what sectors are doing well. And that's kind of been the case the last couple of weeks. Technology's come back on the radar. Energy has been improving. Small caps, the ones that are underperforming, we can see some financial services, some value stocks, consumer cyclical. Again, this is based on our research of what has performed in this period. So take it for what it's worth, is to give you some guidance as to my strategy aligning with the overall economic regime. And you can learn about those cycles. And then finally, tool we use the most here when looking at Walmart, is there a better stock with fundamentals in the sector? So although I may be interested in Walmart, now we can go by quant rating and sort, high and low. We can see the highest looks like Target might be an interesting play instead of Walmart based on the fundamentals. This is a quick way of being in line with the best possible fundamentals for the sector you're in. And I could go down the page. So if I want to look at Target, that's number one. And I could quickly select it. And it's got a higher quantum mental score and some interesting higher quality factor scores. And you can see that trend. So again, this is a research tool to jump around stocks. And I encourage you to experiment and see which ones have the highest scores overall for quant rating, but not just quant rating. Maybe you care more about a specific metric. Maybe you're more of a value investor. You want only the value stocks that have the best rating. If I click on value rating, I'm going to get the top down, the best value stocks comparably, right? So we see a higher one in Albertsons companies. So our Dollar General, the Kroger, so on and so on, right? So that's overall fundamental research. Again, you can change your market. Of course, I'm a little bit biased because I'm on the US side and I cover these stocks on a daily basis, but you can change that as well, right? So you go right in, you can combine the two or just have the one, right? And I can see if I go price performance, I'll just change it to volume and see if there's any interesting volume leaders. We got Robert Walters PLC as an example. And we have some peer comparisons as well. All right, so that's fundamental insight. Again, I could spend an hour just on this product alone digging around, but let's get into one. I got two more products to quickly show you before my time is up. I want to jump into technical insight. I'm just going to refresh it here. So technical insight is a product, probably one of our most popular products because it's giving us interesting technical trade ideas, and it covers vast amounts of data. So each page is going to look different for you because it's going to remember which ones you looked at last, and it's going to remember, what's the most bullish at your firm as well, who's looking at what, which is quite interesting. What are the popular stocks? But the homepage is designed to give you ideas as to what are people looking at, what are the most interesting patterns, which has the most upside potential or downside potential. So it's not biased in any direction. We know clients use this to short stocks as well as go long, right? But the homepage is your recently viewed, the most popular names, what's trending now in the marketplace, most viewed bullish or bearish stocks. So again, this is also customizable. But what I want to do here is look at how I use the tool to share with you for my research. So I use it more for filtering and screening. So I spend most of my time in the screener. And how do you get there? Let's just say I have a stock like Apple. I'll pull it up right now. Right? So I have Apple, and there's a lot of information here. Let's just touch on this right now while we're here. So we have a whole variety of timing on this, so we can do short-term, mid-term, long-term. And the objective of this tool is to give you every possible technical event that has been confirmed, right? So what we're looking at here is Apple ranks 32 out of 194 stocks in the sector based on price performance. That's a whole other thing. Based on price alone, but we don't really look at that as much as looking at the trends and the overall rating. So what we can see here is Apple's been quite flat, but every single green event is a technical event you can click on, and you can see what that is. You can see if it's a moving average crossover. We have a MACD crossover here, fairly recent, quite interesting, where it crossed above its signal line. And you can read into the education of this and what this means. If you've never heard of MACD before, education is built into this tool everywhere. So I encourage you to play along and learn these concepts. You can see what constitutes as a signal, and you can see when it's happened, how long it took, and the date, right? So that's one quick way of looking at all the technical events, bullish or bearish. I can change it to short-term only if I'm a short-term trader and focus on only those events. And we can see a quick summary, right? Again, we're trying to bring you the power of AI and bring all the data in front of you as fast as possible to make a decision as soon as possible. So what we're looking at here is Apple has strong bullish evidence outweighing bearish events. And we're just adding them all up, right? To see, and it has to be recent, 6 bullish versus 4 bearish right now. So what else do we have, right? So we have a time frame available to you if you're long-term bullish, or you can do a summary, get all the data points. We have support and resistance available to you, which you can customize and create an alert on. right? So we have it based on bars. If I'm a short-term trader, I can change it to say 250 bars and zoom right in, and I have a support and resistance level, which I can add an alert or change, right? And then I can also have a stop price, this little purple diamond, which I can also change. I have a trading central trailing stop, medium, loose, or tight. If I do it tight, it brings it right up to a major support level, 222 in this case. And I can also change that and set an alert. If I set an alert, I can add the alert, Apple stop, click OK. It's gone to the alert center that fast. That's what I want to share with you today is how fast this product is to create automated research, right? So in this tool here, and again, I'm showing you how we use it as a power user at Trading Central. Most of the time, if I'm looking at an individual stock to share with the client, I'll go through this, do an analysis, and share it. But really, what I like to do the most is go right into the screener. So the screener is probably the most powerful way to use this product with the alerts. Right, so right now I have USA, but I can change it to say UK stocks, for example. It's something I don't see too often in my desk. So I'll do UK, and I can actually filter by a list of an index if I want to focus on specific stocks in sector and index. I'll keep it open today, and I can also go by industry or sector as well. If I have a bias towards any kind of specific sector, and I can go all bullish, bearish. Right, so let's just do bullish for fun here. And as I'm clicking things, it's updating real time, right, of ideas. Right, so we have a lot of oscillators here. I can change the view, right, to hidden this card, and it'll bring up charts, right, as to why what events are confirmed. So I can look at and cherry pick which ones look nice to me. I'm a bit biased as I'm a technical analyst by profession, so I can go ahead and look for specific things. I already know what I want. But the whole point here is to give you the research, and you can choose what's interesting to you. But we haven't done any screen yet. It's got the entire market right now in the UK in front of our hands here. So I can select stocks if I want, or ETFs, or optionables, more specific to the US side. I can filter by market cap, right? So I have all right now, or I can do large cap. Let's do mid cap for fun. And then I could go into what we talked about in fundamental insight. We added the quantamental rating. So although this is a technical product, right, looking at technical analysis, why not have more events in your favor and more research, more setups. So if I like to go. This is aggressive. It might not work, but 60 out of 100. At least I know now I'm going to be getting the best fundamental stocks as well as technicals, right? So again, a high probable setup, having more indicators in your favor. So I can quickly filter to the best fundamentals, and you can pick your time frame. I like to leave it open because who knows what we'll find. And then this is where it really gets fun. I like to use classic patterns the most in my profession because they give us target prices, right? There is textbook theory. So again, it's not giving advice here. It's telling you if this pattern, when it breaks out, the measure move target based on textbook technical analysis theory. So here, if I click on all classic patterns, I can do that. Or just go for breakouts or something interesting, right? So in this market, I like to use, let's just see what we got. We got tons of indicators, upside breakout. It could be nothing, there could be nothing. Yeah, so here we go. So I got nothing right now, so I could add more. I can add my favorites. I like bullish flags. And we can have continuation wedge. And as I add more, it's going to try to find events, right? This is how you build a methodology and do specific screening. So if I just go click them all right now, because we have all and we're bullish. I can also add candlesticks if I want, right? If you're a candlestick short-term trader, it gets overwhelming. So I'm just going to do one at a time and create an alert on this using this product. So I will do classic patterns. I'll leave indicators and oscillators out for now, but just to show them there, you can do moving average crossovers, right? And you can do oscillators if you only care about, say, Bollinger Bands, MACD, RSI. We'll find events there as well. But I want classic patterns for now because they're more interesting visually on the chart, and I'll do a possible price move. So one thing to note, if you select classic patterns, you can put in a price move, but you can't do that with any other indicator because classic patterns, again, have measured moves. So if I say I want a minimum of 15% move, maybe that's aggressive, but why not? Let's try it out. Do I get anything? Here we have, I've tackled the entire UK market to 1, 2, 3, 4 names. All right. And then again, you can cherry pick which ones that you like. You can do it by list, right? So I can see the close data, what the pattern is, a lot of diamonds, which are actually quite rare patterns, and megaphone bottoms. We can see the trend, right, and the close of the event. So if I click on here, what looks interesting to me, I see Investec PLC. So this is a very specific screen. If I bring down, I want more ideas, I'll bring down to 50. There we have some more names because that was quite aggressive. But at least I know now with fundamental ratings 50 or higher, right? I'm getting the best of the best. And now I have unique patterns in play. So this is how we do a real-time live screen and how I do my homework every night. But the beauty here is, if this is my methodology, I like doing classic patterns, right? In this market, I can now let it do its work for me every night. So I can now hit subscribe, right? How about UK classic, call it whatever you want, patterns. And I should put bullish in there. I hit OK, and it's been added, right? So now I have an alert here, and every day I'll get alerted when I go into this of new opportunities that meet my criteria, right? I can quickly change that, right? And take off classic patterns, and I can go ahead, this is how fast it is. I can go ahead and look at something like moving average and RSI, a clear possible price move, doesn't work. And I can look at these ones now. So maybe I want to look at oscillators only, and maybe because I want to use daily, shorter term time frame. There we go. So I have a bunch of new ideas right here on breakouts and oscillators. This is really nice if you're in a neutral market or consolidation. We can still find some ideas. I can quickly subscribe to that and put MACD just for fun. Hit OK. It's in my alert center. It'll give me, again, always ideas. So here I'm in the alert center right now. I have a lot of them in here, right? I'm doing this for quite a while. I have all upside breakouts, the S&P. So you can see it's unlimited. I can activate or deactivate, but this is how I use the tool. I have a lot of them here. And it's basically looking at alerts. I can activate, deactivate, and I'll get the alerts right to my inbox every day if I do stock meets my criteria, right? You can also do it with watch lists. So last thing I'll touch on, because I'm running a bit out of time, and I can talk about this for a lot more longer. So I made some watch lists for, here's a fun one, beer companies for International Beer Day. Who doesn't like that, right? So we have interesting names, and I can look at the more green, the better. Simple as that, right? For look at a big trend. But I have a lot of them here, right? So I have, I can do iShares, ETFs, I can do Forex, different markets, right? So of course you're looking at my internal, because I do a lot of maintenance and monitoring markets. I have the entire S&P 500 index in here, where I can also find events. And by doing that, I can go hit find events, create my alert, say now I'm looking at the S&P 500, maybe I only want classic patterns again, opportunity bullish, and now I can screen the entire S&P 500 index super fast, right? And I can create a new alert on just bullish classic patterns on the S&P 500, which I think I already have, but this is how I do my research. I look through this every day, seeing if there's any interesting opportunities, scanning the market, and seeing what patterns I like. And every technical analyst may have their own favorite patterns, right? Some that I might look at and give more weight to than others. That's just, a preference that we all have to make. But here we get all of them, right? So that's the probably the most powerful tool in terms of technicals that we use is the automation, finding ideas and patterns and sending the alerts and forgetting it, and then getting the inbox every day. The last thing I'll show you before we go, though, is featured ideas, because featured ideas is quite interesting. It's a combination of a bit of both. So if I go into featured ideas now, mine's customized, right? Because I have some Forex in here. Yours will look a little bit different. But this is combining now all the things we saw today: quantum mental rating, the best fundamentals, and the best technicals, right? And so if I go custom settings, you can do this too, by the way, on your own platform at Interactive Investor. I only go change this to stocks, of course. Here we go, stocks. I have 10 stocks right now, the best of the best ideas. But in custom settings, I can choose. So I have London Stock Exchange here, NYSE, NASDAQ. I had optional stocks. I'll deactivate that for now. Bullish. And I can now look at my time frame and select. So I remove bearish. I only want bullish ideas. And I can choose the fundamentals I care about, right? Earnings, revenue, market cap, fair value, dividends, so on and so on. And the technicals. I can add technical classic patterns. I can have candlesticks. I activated pretty much all of them here. And I can, just for fun, I'll take some off. I'll get trends. I'll keep it to classic patterns. and see if we get any interesting ideas. And then you can also select the sectors at the end. I have them all selected. This is a quick filter. If I hit done, here we go. I have a new ribbon. This is what we're focused on. So I have a new ribbon of the best of the best. So I can go through each one and see which ones I like the most, right? And you can see the target price here now. We have the breakout and the target price. So I can go through a bunch of these. Oh, that one looked interesting. That's almost hit its target. I have anything I want to watch. So I can go through. This one was a big mover and a big bottom up play. So I can go ahead and here's a new one. So a nice flag breakout in Cube Smart, Cube in the US. If I like this, I can see why it was found, right? I can read into it. Dividend yields 4.2%. And they've grown 11% in the most current year, right? Then we have, there's a chart pattern, a bullish chart pattern. And as well, we have a target price range, 52 to 58. It looks like here 52, 10, 52, 80, and a large cap stock. So this is a typical screen already, which you can back test and have all that kind of fun. But what I like to do here is hit watch, right? When I hit watch, next time I log in, it's going to track this pattern and see if it worked out, right? So as long as I'm watching that, I can do another one. If I like, let's just pick this guy here. So it's not hitting his target price yet because this isn't drilling. I can also watch this one. And Hill and Smith PLC also breaking out of this triangle pattern. I'll watch this one. So next time I log in, or tomorrow, the next day, I can go ahead, click on stocks, and click on watch stocks, right? And it's going to show me which ones I've been watching, which ones are valid, which are invalid anymore, right? That have hit the target price. It's kind of how you back test in a way, right? Based on the criteria. So yeah, I can go ahead and refilter it. If I don't like it, I can also go in quickly and look for short ideas, right? If I go into bearish and click done, it's going to split the ribbon up, right? I have 5 bullish, 5 bearish now, right? And so the concept works exactly the same. This is a quite interesting one. Helion PLC, HLN. That's a brand new one I want to watch because it hasn't really hit its target yet. This is kind of how I do the research. A nice triangle breakdown on next. So I can go ahead and watch that name. There's a really low target price coming in. And lots of opportunities here on the short side. And again, as long as I go back into my watch stocks, they'll all be here. And then I can see how that performs going forward. So I know I'm running out of time here, but I want to open up to some questions. That's a lot of information there today. So I thank you all for your patience and time today in the middle of the day. But Lee, if you have anything that's come up, I'm happy to answer them now.
That was fantastic, Gary. Thank you very much. Very insightful. Now it's my turn to show you whereabouts on the II platform you can find the Trading Central tools. So I'm going to share my screen. Right. Okay, I hope you can all see that now.
Excellent.
Superb. Look, so look, before I do run through this, I'd like to sort of say that the Trading Central tools are exclusively for II customers and do not appear on the public website. So there are a number of ways we've integrated the Trading Central tools into the secure website. So I'm going to run through them. But as always, after this webinar, do please search and learn and explore the Trading Central tools, and you'll find out an awful lot more. So look, the first thing I want to point out is if we go in via the Research Hub. Now, I'm in the secure site, I'm in the Research Hub. So in the top right, you can see the market buzz. So in the hero section, this is the top buzzing instrument at the moment. So if you click here, you will go through to the market buzz page for Sage Group. Now they've had results out today, done very well. Everybody's talking about them. Shares were up around 18% earlier on today. So that's the top buzzing instrument today. You can scroll down the page. You can see the news feed, the most discussed topics, what people have been mentioning. These cropped up in the results, and you can also look at the sentiment button there, and that takes you through to one of the screens that Gary talked you through earlier on, with sentiment signals, scores, confidence index, and subjectivity. And there's a sentiment history there too. If we go back to the Research Hub, You can scroll down the page. You can find the dedicated Trading Central section there in the middle, Insights and Analytics, and the Market Buzz rail there that has the 4 top buzzing UK companies. So if you click on an item, that takes you through to the detail page. Now let's click on something different. There's AstraZeneca, a popular company at the moment. So that's AstraZeneca's page. And if you click on that, we're already on the Market Buzz automatically, but then it goes, you can click the Fundamental Insight page there. So you'll recognize those from Gary's presentation with the bubbles. You can also see them presented as a table. And then you can also click through on Technical Insight. Again, this is for Astra. So all of the things that Gary mentioned are here. You've got Technical Insight, you've got Featured Ideas. This is something Gary mentioned towards the end of his presentation. Lots of ideas, up to 10 ideas there, bullish and bearish. And your custom settings on the right-hand side. Lots of choice there. So we'll go back to the Research Hub. Back down to the Trading Central section. So you've also, what do these insights mean? So you click on that button and you've got videos for Market Buzz, Fundamental Insight, Technical Insight, and a bit more about Trading Central as well. So the second way, if we go back to the Research Hub, second way is via customer instrument pages. So, for example, if we have a look for, let's say, Barclays, onto Barclays page. So if we scroll down to signals, there. So around the middle there. So if you scroll down, you've got the ratings. You're going to see the Market Buzz, and you're going to see quantamental ratings for the company. Again, you can view the details, which takes you through to the Barclays page. Again, you've got mentions, you've got sources, all the things that we saw previously when I clicked through discuss topics, and again, sentiment there too. And that's all for Barclays. So you can use that find and invest field at the top, and you can pick any company you like, and you'll get the same readout there. So we go back to the Research Hub again. And the third way is by looking at our screener, the Shares Investment Screener, which is towards the bottom of the page on the Research Hub. So we scroll down to there. So there's Find an Investment. And so here already I've filtered by UK large cap. So if you click on the quantamental ratings column there, you can order it from low to high and high to low. So there we've got Vodafone, it's showing a high quantamental rating. And also you can use this in combination with other signals as well, such as the Morningstar rating to the right there. And that may generate some really good, or can generate some very good investment ideas. So look, as I say, there's lots to learn and look at on the Research Hub, and for on the Trading Central area there in the middle of the Research Hub, and I encourage you to explore and find out more. And look, I hope that was useful. It's a bit of a whirlwind tour of the site, but we've covered most of your options there. And as I say, keep exploring. So now I'm going to pass back to Gary, who's going to answer some of your questions. So Gary, we've received some great questions about
Awesome.
Trading Central tools. Conscious of time, so we'll get through as many as we can. First, are there plans to enable jumping between companies' Market Buzz and fundamental insight pages. Now, this would speed up research. A trade button would be nice too.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that's a good question. So that's the next journey we're on, is combining everything together, right? So, and that's coming down the line. So I don't see why not. 'Cause I get the challenges of trying to have multiple windows open if you can. Every client has every broker has a different integration. Yours is fantastic, by the way. It's unique. So that we would work with, because we have APIs. So that's something we were trying to design right now, is to how to get an overall score, like a Trade Central full analysis in maybe a report or something. So I can tell you right now, our research team is looking into that. And trade buttons, yes, they're definitely able to be implemented all around. So all that to say, yes, it is possible, and we're working on it as we continue this journey. So we have a lot of insights. Now it's combining them all into one. Yeah.
Excellent. Second question, is technical analysis only for trading, or can I also use it for long-term investing, and how?
Oh, definitely you can use long-term investing for sure. So just a quick note on that, how we use at Trade Central. We use a long-term chart first, actually. So we look at a 5-year time horizon. We look for a trend that's happening, and maybe it's above a certain moving average, like a 200-day moving average. If it's bullish, it ticks a box for us. And we do a top-down approach, as we call it. So absolutely, it works on any time frame, from weekly, monthly charts, all down to intraday 5-minute bars, right? So you can do that. You will use specific indicators, right? And most of the time it's trend following on a longer term horizon, using moving averages, looking for crossovers to make sure you're on the right side of the trend first. So for example, a quick indicator we use is a 50, 200-day crossover. If it's 50 days above the 200-day, that's a bullish signal. I can continue with my analysis. And just to make sure you're on the right side of the trend when you're looking at maybe you have an idea fundamentally about a stock. But yes, look at the trend first. Any time frame that works, and we show that in Technical Insight. You can go look at the long-term view as well. But yes.
Brilliant. There's a question here that actually I can answer. So will the webinar be available to view afterwards? I'm unable to attend live, but would like to hear about the new tools to assist my investing. Well, yes, we're going to put that up on the II YouTube channel in due course. So that should be pretty soon. Next question for you, Gary. Are there plans to add buy and sell buttons to Fundamental Insight and Market Buzz? These buttons are on technical and would be very useful.
Yes, and absolutely. I don't see why we can't do that. Yeah.
Yeah, great. And on Market Buzz, mention sources. Are the social contributions from a verified list of users?
So that's a good question too. So I would say for that one now, it depends. Each broker client has a different integration of this. So what you're seeing on my desk today is the whole feature for, like, say, all our clients, right? So clients check specific ones they want. So I would say for the social side, it's pretty broad right now. So there's no specific users or individuals. We don't pick individuals, right? We'll use a whole source, like say it's X, or it's like a StockTwits, right? So we don't verify the individual users. We take the whole sentiment from the entire social platform, if that helps answer the question. So it's everything. Yeah.
Brilliant. Okay, look, Gary, that's all the questions. Some great questions there, and a fantastic presentation. Thanks, Gary, and thank you very much for joining us too. That's it for today.
Thanks, Lee. Thanks for the invite, and thanks everyone. Happy trading, and looking forward to seeing you in the future.